Can the truth be known with any certainty? Look, even if I believed that objective truth exists and that objective truth about God can be found, at least could be investigated. I've heard people say, I've got a problem though, ever really landing a conclusion from the facts that in other words, I might agree that there's an objective truth about God, but I don't think anyone could know with any certainty what that truth is. Doesn't that seem kind of arrogant? I mean, look, you think, okay, even if there's an objective truth about God, how arrogant do you have to be to think you've discovered it, that you actually have the mental capacity to know with certainty what that truth is? And I've heard atheists say this, you can, not to trust anyone who says they've found the truth. If you can search for the truth, no problem. But once you say you found it, I'm out, because that, to me, seems presumptuous and arrogant. So the claim really here is that, hey, truth might exist, objective truth might exist, but you really can't know it with certainty. Now, I don't know if, as you're listening to that claim, you're seeing what I see immediately. So let me give you a quick way to respond to that claim itself. Okay, look, if someone tells me that truth can't be known with certainty, the first inclination I have is to ask, are you certain? Are you certain that truth can't be known? Because that's a claim you seem to hold with certainty. But if you don't think truth can be known with certainty, then you can't know that truth can't be known with certainty, with any certainty. Do you see the problem with this? It's self-refuting. It's the same problem you have with someone who says there is no objective truth, that there's no objective truth, and you can't make the claim there's no objective truth because that's an objective truth claim. So in the end, we have to just be fair about, could you even make the claim itself that truth can't be known with certainty? That's a claim that you cannot make and remain true to a logical principle. It is a fallacy. It is a self-refuting truth claim. But let me give you another way to think about this. I think sometimes the word that hangs us up is this word certainty. And I get this all the time from jurors in criminal trials. At what point can I be certain that I am rendering the verdict that actually reflects what happened? And we all ask people when we're impaneling them from a jury, hey, are you the kind of person that can render a verdict even though you have open questions on certain key issues? And if someone tells us, yeah, if I have every single question answered before I can render a verdict, we are simply not going to impanel that person on our jury. Because there are always unanswered questions in every criminal trial I've ever worked. Any case I've ever investigated, I might have enough reason to believe that he did it, even if I can't tell you how he did it. You don't have to have every question answered to be certain. Why? Because the level we're trying to reach is not beyond a possible doubt, because you'll never get there. There's nothing you really know beyond a possible. I could always level, as judges say in criminal trials, we could always level a possible or imaginary doubt. That's why the standard is not beyond a possible doubt. The standard in criminal trials, the highest level of criminal trials involving the life and death of suspects and defendants in a trial, is not beyond a possible doubt, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. I think the problem is that some people think I gotta be up here before I can decide if anything is true. No, that's not the standard. There's nothing that you know beyond a possible or imaginary doubt. The standard is reasonable doubt. That's the kind of certainty we have to have. And how I try to explain reasonable doubt is really quite simple. Look, is this doubt that you're having based on strong evidence, or is it based on your emotional reaction or a will or desire you have? Where is the doubt coming from? If it's not grounded in evidence, then it's not a reasonable doubt. And so I think for a lot of us, understanding that difference between possible and reasonable doubt will help us to respond to the complaint that you can't know anything with certainty. Well, if you mean 100% certainty, well, you're absolutely right, but you don't know anything that way. And by the way, as an atheist, I knew nothing about the world around me with that kind of certainty, but you can get to the truth of the Christian worldview beyond a reasonable doubt. Are there no objective truths? Let's just talk about how you might quickly respond to the claim that there are no objective truths. Especially in a world, right, where the idea of subjectivism, that everything's a matter of personal perspective, perspectival truth, reigns in a postmodern world that rejects the notion of objective truths. But let's just take a look at the claim for a second on its face. When someone says there is no objective truth, I think it'd be fair just to simply ask, well, is that objectively true? Because if you're saying there is no objective truth, then it cannot be objectively true that there is no objective truth. Do you see the problem here? It is a self-refuting claim. It's the equivalent of me saying I can't speak a word of English. In order to say that, I have to actually contradict the very claim I'm making. And the same is true when someone says there is no objective truth. To make such a claim, you'd have to be making the claim objectively. So you could simply ask, is that just your opinion? Or do you believe that that claim about truth applies to both of us? That it's objectively, transcendently true? Well, if it is, there's at least one objective, transcendent truth. That there is no objective, transcendent truth, and that makes no sense at all. So I think we're stuck with this hard reality that some things are true and some things are false. We can deny these, but when I step out in that street, if the bus is coming, it's either coming or it's not. And it's important for me to know the difference. Let me give you another quick way to respond to that claim. Truth can be broken into two different categories. There are subjective truth claims and objective truth claims. Now, subjective truth claims are the kinds of personal opinions that subjects like myself can hold. So if I said to you, for example, chocolate chip cookies are the best dessert. Well, that's a subjective claim because it's my personal opinion that chocolate chip cookies are the best dessert. If I said to you, on the other hand, that the antibiotic isoniazid is what cures tuberculosis, well, my opinion cannot control what cures tuberculosis. I can't say, well, my opinion a Diet Coke would cure tuberculosis. Well, you could say that, but it won't cure it. Your opinion is really not effectual on this issue because that's not a subjective truth claim that isoniazid cures TB. That's an objective truth claim because it's not grounded or based on the claims of a subject. It's based on the reality of an object known as isoniazid. There's a difference between subjective claims and objective claims. Now look, I don't think we should spend a lot of time arguing with people about our subjective opinions. So if I said to you, I think the chocolate chip cookies are the best dessert in the world, how much time are you really going to spend arguing with me about whether or not I should believe that? But if I said to you, and I didn't even know I had TB, but if I said to you, once I discovered I had TB, that I think that, a Diet Pepsi is going to cure my TB, I would hope you would argue with me about that. It turns out objective claims are incredibly important and are worth arguing about because you can be deadly wrong about your objective truth claims. I would hope you would tell me, no, that diet soda is not going to cure your TB. Isoniazid does that. Now, why is this important to us? Because the claim that God exists or that Christianity is true is not a subjective claim, like my opinions related to cookies. It's an objective claim about the nature of reality. Look, it might not be true. God may not exist, or Christianity may not be true, but my opinion is powerless to make it true if it's not, or to keep it from being true if it is. These are the kinds of claims we ought to be discussing with our friends, right? Because like the cure for TB, Christianity is the cure for what is killing us spiritually. And if we continue to treat it like a cookie instead of a cure, nothing good comes from that. Instead, we need to be convinced about what is subjectively true and what is objectively true. That difference is a matter of life and death.